$1,000, which were later revealed to be photos of a prop alien from the film Roswell.
Of course it's going to muddy the waters. People always remember the hoaxes. They'll remember that certain witnesses were discredited. They won't remember that every member of Colonel Blanchard's staff we were able to interview, with a single exception, said this was an extraterrestrial event.
I'm very pessimistic because I've done my darndest with some of these reluctant Roswell witnesses. At least 10 people who are still alive who have direct knowledge but won't talk about it. They're going to go to their graves. One of the original Roswell researchers, Stanton Friedman, has said that Roswell research is a race with the Undertaker. And I'm afraid he's right. I'm pessimistic about ever getting to the bottom of this.
But the will to believe drives other UFO researchers to push forward against the odds. Dr. Dave Rudiak is a research scientist who believes he has found the long-hoped-for smoking gun of the Roswell incident in a photograph that's been in the public record since 1947.
Even though I had believed that something very unusual had happened at Roswell, I was surprised at what I read in here. I wasn't expecting to see some of this stuff.
Rudiak has spent the last 2 years using computer imaging to analyze what Roswell researchers know as the Ramey Memo.
First, there was the Roswell-based press release. About an hour after the press release, General Ramey was already speaking on the phone to reporters in the Pentagon press room and saying it looked like a weather balloon to him and a radar target, and that is in fact what is pictured here. So they brought in the photographer from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. He took 6 photos. 4 of the photos have General Ramey, and he's holding this message in his hand. In 3 of those photos, the message is turned away from the camera. In this particular photo, though, for some reason, it's facing the camera. And fortunately for us, the image is of sufficient quality that we can read quite a bit of the message. And it tells, I think, a very remarkable story.
During the GAO investigation, U.S. Air Force representatives claim they tried to enhance this photo themselves. Their official conclusion was that even using state-of-the-art equipment, it was totally unreadable.
This is the memo the Air Force said that their high-level government organization photo analysis lab could not read anything on. And if we zoom in here, you can obviously make out some of the words quite easily. And everybody sees this here. This is, the 2 words here are weather balloons. These words are very important because it tells us that this is about Roswell, because Ramey's trying to sell a weather balloon story to the press. It's not his lunch order, it's not his laundry list, it's not Mrs. Ramey telling him to bring groceries home. All right.
Rudiak's inquiry began by focusing on the most readable key words and phrases.
Here's the word disc, and it's in quotes because there's a new use of the word, and they typically put the word disc in quotes. Another group of words that everybody sees are right here. It's Fort Worth, Texas.
Another key word was identified, both by Rudiak and other researchers who have analyzed the memo.
Up here is a key word that was picked out by the first group. They read this as victims up here. Here's a graphic of this keyword victims. These letters underneath are actual teletype font. I'm just assuming that we have these 4 letters. The question is how many words in the English language will fit that? And here they are. The only word that seems to fit is victims. So the word victims is critical because it's really the first documentary confirmation that there actually were casualties or bodies involved with Roswell. It's all been based on witness testimony up to this point.
Rudiak believes that by piecing together the most legible words and phrases, even the simplest reading of the Ramey memo is incriminating.
Of course, if you have this phrase up here, which is in the first paragraph, says, and the victims of the wreck. If there were victims, this can't be explained by a balloon crash.
As the sun rises on the final day of the Roswell debris field dig, a police escort leads 2 security vans into downtown Roswell. Their cargo? 66 bags of soil samples and humuos, historical materials of uncertain origin that have been under guard since they came out of the debris field. These samples and artifacts will remain locked in the safe of the Roswell Wells Fargo Bank till they can undergo extensive testing at a materials lab. The mystery's over for one artifact found in the field. The National Weather Service estimates Bill Dolman's weather balloon to be no older than 10 years, and certainly not a remnant of the 1947 Roswell crash.
This is one of 7 known photographs that was taken at Fort Worth Army Airfield on July 8, 1947. This is General Roger Ramey seated here. Next to him is his Chief of Staff, Colonel Thomas Dubose, who later said that this weather balloon that they had displayed was just a cover story that they used to get the press off their backs.
After 2 years of research, Dr. Rudiak believes he has interpreted the entire text of the memo in General Ramey's hand.
So here's the first paragraph. It reads, Fort Worth Army Airfield acknowledges that a disc, again in quotes, is the next new find west of the cordon. If I'm reading this correctly, they found the main disc west of the cordon, and General Ramey is confirming this. And then it goes into this phrase, and the victims of the wreck. You forwarded to possibly the team, some sort of team at Fort Worth, Texas. So you have something in the disc, the aviators in the disc. They were going to ship them by a B-29 special transport, it's abbreviated as ST, or a C-47. I have about 80% confidence in what I have here. I think at least 80% of the words are correct here. I think even if people contest most of the words that I've come up with, that there's enough words that are clear enough, such as in the disc, victims of the wreck, that it puts the lie to the whole balloon explanation, and also to the Air Force's claim in 1994 that nothing could be read in this message.
3 weeks after the backhoe excavation, Bill Dolman returns to the dig site to examine his results. In one of the trenches, he is surprised to find what could be an impact mark, right where the experts said there'd be one.
Something moved the original natural soils and sediments from here at some time in the past, and then it filled back in. It happened long enough ago that this feature was not evident on the surface at the time.
But does any of this evidence bring us closer to solving the riddle of Roswell?
What we have done is find some things that are suggestive, taken soil samples that could be looked at microscopically for some kind of debris evidence. We came up with some surprises. One of them's over the hill and is clearly, to my mind, not a cow path and not an old 2-track that's eroded. And it was quite a surprise. Someone could come along and take part of our results, selectively draw upon the results of this study and say that they were offering indisputable physical evidence. But it would not be true. No, we got something that's unexplained.
The Roswell incident has become an integral part of New Mexico state history. Back at the university, Dolman briefs Governor Bill Richardson on the results of the dig.
And the initial impact point was right in here, according to Don Schmidt, who's basically a technical advisor to the project and a leading UFO researcher. The exciting part about this was that, wow, we've got a stratigraphic anomaly right where there should be one.
We've got something, right?
It's intriguing.